In the last paragraph, we get another important concept, that is, twin obligations. Means the two responsibilities that one should have. Number one, obligations to his family, to his parents, to his wife and children. That means his personal obligation. And second, he has an obligation to his people, to his community, and his country, means to the nation and society. In a civil and humane society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations and abilities. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both those obligations. Means, uh, in South Africa, it was really challenging to fulfill both those obligations. In South Africa, a man of color, means a black person, who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart. A twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. I did not, in the beginning, choose to place my people above my country. Means he emphasized on his family first in the beginning. But in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. That means he could not fulfill both these obligations at the same time. He had to choose one. And what did he choose? He chose his people. He chooses his people. And he had to neglect his family. I was not born with a hunger to be free. Now, in this paragraph, he is talking about his concept of childhood freedom, which was gradually changed when he becomes an adult. I was not born with the hunger to be free. I was born free, free in every way that I could know. Free to run in the fields near my mother's hut, free to swim in the clear stream that ran through my village, free to roast millies under the stars and ride the broad backs of slow moving bulls. As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion, means it was not real. When I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. And what did he want only? The transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night, read what I pleased, and go where I chose. Later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yearned for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential, of earning my keep, of marrying and having a family. The freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. Means at every step he found restrictions and he did not feel free. But when I slowly saw that not only I was not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free, I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did, means all the blacks. That is when I joined the African National Congress, a party. And that is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self respect that animated my life, that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one, that drove a law abiding attorney to become a criminal, that turned a family loving husband into a man without a home, that forced a life loving man to live like a monk. He is actually talking about himself, how he was and how he was transformed. I am no more virtuous or self sacrificing than the next man, but I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. Freedom is indivisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. Means curtailing the freedom of one black is equal to curtailing the freedom of all the blacks. I knew, sorry, the chains on all my people were the chains on me. Now, coming to the last paragraph of this chapter, I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. A very important concept, once again, the concept of oppressor and the oppressed. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow mindedness. Now, he is talking about oppressor and the oppressed. And he says that both the oppressor and the oppressed are prisoners. The oppressed is already a prisoner of the oppressor. And how the oppressor was a prisoner? The oppressor was a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow mindedness. I'm not truly free if I'm taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. If I snatch somebody's freedom, I'm not free. In the same way, if somebody takes my freedom away from me, that person is also not free. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. Thank you.